Newcastle MP Catherine McKinnell has urged ministers to listen to some of the UK's top music acts, who fear new Brexit rules will cause huge harm to the UK's music industry. Artists such as Elton John, Radiohead and charlatan singer Tim Burgess have warned that visa requirements will make it impossible to organise tours in the Ms. McKinnell called on the government to negotiate an agreement with the EU to protect the nation's music industry. As she led a House of Commons debate on the issue, she said, "We are the country that gave the world the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Britpop, Elton John, Queen and other cultural exports revered around the world. It would be an absolute tragedy if we were to lose that status as a cultural hub. So, we need to see real leadership and foresight from the government to ensure Brexit has meant an end to the freedom of movement rules that previously allowed British people to work in any part of the EU. It means musicians require visas to perform in EU countries. But the rules vary from country to country, which means anybody hoping to visit a number of different nations needs to fill in a series of complex forms, and ensure they meet different requirements in different countries. Artists generally travel alongside staff such as a road crew, and expensive equipment. Artists and tour managers say they fear the level of bureaucracy and cost will make touring in Europe impossible. A petition calling on the government to negotiate a free cultural work permit that gives us visa-free travel throughout the 27 EU states for music touring professionals, bands, musicians, artists, TV and sports celebrities that tour the EU to perform shows and events and carnet exception for touring equipment has been signed by 283,000 people. Ms. McKinnell is chair of the House of Commons Petitions Committee, which can hold Commons debates on any parliamentary petition attracting 100,000. Speaking in the debate, she set out the problem. Ms. McKinnell said, "There will be new and complex forms, costs for moving people and equipment around Europe, and a reduction in the ability to work flexibly and easily with EU artists and organizations. Just looking at the mountain of bureaucracy our touring creatives will now have to deal with if they want to gig in Europe probably makes the argument for a broad UK-EU agreement better than ever." She said artists can perform in Germany and France for 90 days a year without a permit, while on Poland the time limit was 30 days and in Spain and Portugal, artists needed to obtain a permit to navigating the rules for multiple country tours has become remarkably complex, adding costs that will eat into the financial viability of the tour and make touring some countries at short notice virtually impossible. She added, "Over this enormously difficult and bleak period, we have all looked forward to the time when we could forget about social distancing and face masks and experience the unique buzz of a live music event again. Most of us cannot wait for all the pent-up opportunity and creativity to be unleashed when this awful pandemic is finally over, and we can go to see the bands we follow and the music we love in the flat." But petitioners fear that the way the pandemic has overlapped with the end of the Brexit transition period is masking the serious underlying problems created by the lack of an EU-wide agreement for touring. Culture Minister Caroline Dinenage said the UK had pushed for artists to be allowed to tour the EU without visas during Brexit talks, but the EU had rejected the idea. She said, "Quite simply the EU rejected this and there was no counteroffer." She said, "It is absolutely within the gift of each EU member state to improve their own arrangements if they want to encourage a more vibrant and welcoming environment in their own." Writing in The Guardian over the weekend, Elton John said that touring in Europe as an up-and-coming artist allowed him to build up a loyal following. He said, "This was all a long time ago. If I was the keyboard player in a young band, or a solo artist just starting out now, it's unlikely I'd get the chance to go to Hamburg, or indeed have hot dogs thrown at me." As a result of Brexit, British artists who want to play in Europe will now need visas, work permits and equipment carnet for each country they visit. "It's an administrative nightmare that vastly increases the cost of staging in Europe." Elton said that he could afford the costs of touring in Europe today, but that would not be possible for me. "In a way it does affect me, because I don't want to live in a